live from the DreamHack Monster Energy studio, and we're back for our second quarterfinals of the day. It is time for Chappa to face the team that, well, has the most chance of winning, Hellraisers.
Sorry, Ona's doing sign language in the background.
Why?
And trying to confuse us.
The Dota. Oh,
It
might be patch
It's
time.
happening.
Oh my god.
So that is actually just a heads up. If there is a patch, that means that everybody will need to download the patch. That means that I mean, we have teams from the CAS scene, and without sounding really prejudiced,
Well,
their download times might be a little bit longer than average. It's a big patch, guys, so we might be a little bit delayed in our match. And I mean, it's going to be the first match on the patch, so I'm not going to complain about waiting at all. It's going to be great, I hope.
Well,
Magnus.
you say that, shit.
Sure.
But we live in Sweden, and we moved to a house that had like the worst internet in the entire
This
world.
is actually true.
So it doesn't matter where in the world you're from, you can apparently have terrible internet.
This is actually true.
So yeah. All right.
But patch.
Yeah, they should have at least like 3 days to start theory crafting and start.
They had one.
Only one.
Oh, yeah, I was up all night playing on the patch. I'm sure they were as well.
Yeah, it's
5 a.m. on Monday morning, or Tuesday morning, 5 a.m. is when they came out, so they had at least 24 hours, but yet they almost had like 36.
It's almost too much time.
Yeah.
So hopefully they have started thinking, okay, what can actually work, and we might see some new heroes.
I really hope someone tries the Alchemist farming Ajax thing. It picks a team like, you know, like Clockwork.
Shiva's way.
Yeah, what is it called? The
Shiva's way.
Is that it?
Shiva's way.
Is that what we're calling it?
Alchemist safe lane, farming Aghanims for the whole team.
Didn't you steal that
Did
from
you want
Ellie?
Aghanims? I want Aghanims. I get Aghanims for you, for you, for you.
It'll be pretty good, actually.
It
And
will be.
you can actually activate the Aghanims globally, which I figured out last night. I was in the base as Invoker, and my Alchemist was in the safe lane, and he's like, have an Aghanim. So I'm just kind of throws it across the map.
Nice.
Good toss range.
Pretty good.
What a gentleman.
Yeah, well, I demanded it. I was like, there was a Spirit Breaker on their team that was like, please Aghanims me. I was like, silly.
Invoker first.
That could cause trouble among friends. Like, who do I give the Aghanim's to?
Or in pubs.
Yeah.
No, someone will make like a ranking of the best Aghanims, and that way you'll be like, oh, I'm number 3 on the rankings, but you're number 2, so I guess you get
It
it.
could be. Actually, we might still not have the patch. It might just be a regular Dota crash. As we do have
the fake hype is real.
The fake hype is actually 100% real. I'm sorry, guys.
Shiva, why did you do this?
Hey, I mean, it wasn't me. And we have people in the lobby. I mean, look at this. So we have a vision of Dota on our screen, so we know like when things are starting and how things are happening. And it doesn't look like the Dota 2 network is down. It doesn't look like you needed to download anything.
Okay, so Hellraisers versus Chappa.
Chappa.
I guess it depends.
I guess in Russian it might be pronounced Kappa.
Yeah, so
But we're gonna call them Chappa because we're not Russians.
I think
Solid.
I really want Hellraisers to do well, even though like I really like how Afro Ninja plays as a mid player. He plays his Tinker so well. His Quap, Storm Spirit, and Shadow. Like he honestly is probably their standout player to me. And if he gets the space, he can just dominate the game like so much on his own. So I think it's a lot down to him. And when they lost the last time, he actually wasn't playing for them. So
True.
there might be some.
And they were playing against a team that actually ended up qualifying. So there's that too. And to be honest, I mean, that's the scary part too, though, for Hellraisers, because they have Afro Ninja, and that is indeed their star player. And I think most other teams will realize that if Afro Ninja does bad on mid lane, or whichever lane he's going to be on, he's not going to be performing
like
amazing.
we don't see a lot though when we talk about a player. Like he could be making some calls in game, that kind of stuff. He could be just like morally he says what's going on. We need to go here. We need to do this. You know what I mean? And you miss that a lot more than we'd see. Like
Most played heroes. Still, the Death Prophet looks so out of place, but that's of course.
When are these stats from?
All time, I believe.
All time. Okay, so that's a long time. It's like.
There was a moment where Death Prophet was the go-to hero.
We don't talk about that time.
Yeah, it's.
Are you nostalgic for that era? Because you're going to be nostalgic about Sniper and Troll not being picked anymore.
TI finals.
How do you feel about?
You missed the TI finals.
Okay, I'm gonna say it here. I think the TI finals were great. Like I don't think they were bad. I think I really like Dota where you try a strategy and try to execute it, and it's like
And it works.
Yeah, it works.
You win
or you
in 15 minutes.
Like the team fights, they just become so important. Like every minute of Dota just becomes important, and I really like a game like that. I hate a game where you feel like you have 20 minutes that just really doesn't matter because both teams are just kind of farming long away from each other. So 90 minutes games for me are usually a sign that someone is doing something wrong or there's something wrong with the patch or something.
But do you not think like that patch, the TI finals, was like it was just the same thing every game? Like you could literally put them beside each other and you could nearly not tell what the difference was in the game.
I think there was a lot of like small things that you could look at in each team fight, and it's not as flashy as some previous TI finals.
Yeah, well, I mean it for the big team fights and like the huge plays and like in 14 minutes of gameplay.
There
you
was
don't have
not
much
that much of that.
I think one of the problems was that maybe some of the teams just gave up a little too early.
Yeah, okay.
And so if they had actually played it out, then that would have been better for us as the spectators, even though they were perhaps pretty certain that they already lost. Yeah. So maybe it was like 95, 99. They still have very, very little chance, and like it makes sense in a competitive way in a best of what's best of five or best to actually like go out so you don't just crush your team spirit too much.
Yeah, okay.
But in a spectator sense, I think that was maybe one of the biggest problems, that they just kind of gave up so early. So suddenly like it was just kind of over, even though they hadn't even like pushed any tier 3 towers in base. So
they called it so early sometimes.
But I got a bit surprised when I saw the reaction to the TI4 finals, that it was so negative.
I mean, you got to take it into comparison to TI3. TI3 finals were amazing, and there was no way that it doesn't matter if the games were longer, that those finals were going to be better than the TI3 finals, because the TI3 finals were amazing.
It was like the storylines, everything was so much
everything fit. And then, I mean, in a way, I think it's really good that TI4 was a little bit underwhelming, because that means that everything coming at TI5 is going to be better.
Yeah, I think the problem...
That's how it works, right?
God, she just called it.
Well, I hope so. For the finals, yeah.
I think one of the things that I found was problematic about the TI4 finals was that it kind of initiated a lot of changes in the game. And so we got this new glyph, where if you take the tier 1 tower, you refresh glyph, and it's...
So you don't like that?
And the comeback mechanic as well came in after that as well.
Yeah, the comeback mechanic. It's just... I think I'm not sure it was actually needed. Just because we have a best of 5 final, it seemed like it was based a bit too much on that. I'm sure that it looked like at the whole tournament, but I would say...
No, that's not true. There was some really, really, really good games at the end.
And as in the whole tournament, like I would say that you have great games, and it just seems to me that maybe some of the changes were a bit too focused on the finals and how people reacted negative.
But it was kind of more like if one person made a mistake in them final games, you lose 2 towers. You know what I mean? That was huge. Like, people make mistakes in Dota all the time, but the cost of the mistakes is so much less now.
But it's like the same in other...
You just need to find a balance, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps.
Maybe the next patch. I mean, balance patch.
I can't wait to see it.
The Dota network is still online, guys, so we still don't have a patch, just update. However, we are slightly... Oh, no, we're not. We're early in the match. Never mind. No, we're not delayed.
Grand.
My bad.
So,
okay, do we have any stats on Chappa?
We do not have any stats on Chappa. We do, however, have stats on Hellraisers. Okay, let's take a look at their stats. And Slasher, you can tell me what jumps out for you the most of their stats. Their most preferred picks and their most banned against. So that's what people ban against Hellraisers.
Well, it's quite surprising that they pick Rubik so much. That's one of the heroes that's kind of fallen out of the meta, or it's at least... It has kind of swung up and down.
These are stats, by the way, from 6.83. So it's like slightly before DAC until now.
Yeah.
The Shadow Fiend's kind of pretty standard. Like, they're all pretty standard except for Rubik. Rubik definitely stands out. Maybe they... I don't actually remember seeing them play Rubik. Am I wrong?
No, I think their Rubik era was a while ago. I mean, I think it was Goddamn that played it. When they did play it.
Yeah.
But I think it was all like pre-DAC.
Okay.
If I'm saying that properly, I'm not sure if they have enough matches for that. I mean, obviously, they did apparently play it in 24 matches. It's not great. Or at least there's a lot of matches. But so I actually think that like even the last few months they have to have picked them quite a bit because you're not going to be able to pick Rubik every time. Why don't we see Rubik this patch? Or rather, this patch, I mean, these days, because the patch is almost over, so these days.
We saw Rubik yesterday.
We did? We did?
Yeah, he stole the OP.
Did.
That's why we see Rubik.
That's why we need to see Rubik more.
Yeah,
he was really good in that game.
Then we were talking
especially
about,
the RP.
We were talking about TI and why it was so good as well. Like one of the TIs was TI2 and the Rubik.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think one of the reasons also that, for example, Tidehunter is we kind of see him rarely, and that's like Rubik. That's pretty much the perfect hero he wants to play against. And I guess we see Enigma sometimes, but not that often as we.
I mean, now his Venge is against Enigma more than Rubik as well.
True.
I think also I'm not sure about the patch changes to Rubik, but I think like most of his spells just kind of got nerfed a lot, so it has to like cost a lot more mana. But that's quite far behind. I think it's definitely like one of the mid-tier heroes that can work in the right draft.
He doesn't do really a lot of damage though. Like if you're ganking, you literally very rarely, unless you have like maybe a Shadow Fiend or something, or a Magnus in mid, it's very difficult to solo roam on Rubik.
He's not that strong in the early, so it would be problematic to, for example, to lane him with Alchemist.
So Shiva at the start of the show made up this draft. What was your draft?
Okay, you're gonna go for IO Tiny in the mid lane. You have an Alchemist with Rubik, or perhaps I made a concession. You can also have any other support that has a disable. Skywrath would also be okay as well. Just any solid support that can protect Alchemist in his farming. And then you have like a Clockwork offlane or something that has an Axe upgrade that is good. That might be Batrider, ish.
Batrider, Axe?
Maybe there's a new Axe. Grab all the team! Please.
This is why Shiva does not balance Dota.
No, like Magnus could be.
How do you know she doesn't balance Dota?
How do you know?
How do you know?
I just believe that somebody...
Did anybody ever say that Iceberg was a man?
Oh God, it's Shiva.
Well...
Huh?
Tidehunter got buff.
Venomancer only got a small buff. So...
But he got a buff.
You just want to be subtle, dude. Just slowly buffing him.
Yep. No, what...
I think I heard one person say that it was a he, but I can't quite remember. Maybe it was just something I dreamed. I'm not sure. The mystery of Icefrog is just all hazy.
Because if you like a frog is like male or female, can be both, right? I mean, there obviously there's different. No, exactly. Yeah, there's no frogin, no frogette.
Maybe in a different language. I don't know.
I don't think we really distinguish so much other species by like gender.
There's a lot of
stag, deer.
Yeah, okay, some of them.
Yeah,
dog.
Okay, let's not go there.
You got a lion and lioness.
Yeah.
Tiger, tigress. Yeah. Get wrecked.
Let's talk about Dota. Okay. I can talk about like how when we talk about the lower animals because we have all this ladder of animals and now we can talk about philosophy and stuff like
chicken
how they reorder the world and stuff.
Okay,
like
let's talk about Dota.
Yes, good, very good.
So we have Hellraisers going up against Team Chappa. Team Chappa, a team that we don't really know anything about. They made it through to the open qualifiers, and even though on paper Hellraisers should be winning this series quite convincingly, we have seen before, especially yesterday, for example, open qualifier teams take out invited teams. But I'm really curious from you two. Who do you expect will win? And how? By how much?
I think you'd be slightly crazy not to bet on Hellraisers, even though on some days they mightn't do the best. But I honestly think that when it comes down to it, they do have Afro Ninja playing.
Good.
And they have
Important.
Dread. I don't know. I'm going with Hellraisers 2-0. I'm pretty confident in that as well.
Yeah, Hellraisers 2-0.
Yeah.
Oh, you were right the previous time.
Yeah, sure.
But if I say Hellraisers 2-0, it's going to be, you need to kind of be having the diplomat somewhere to be like...
Okay, so this is a kind of a cop-out, because if you lose, you say we're just being a diplomat.
Hey, you were... Oh,
yeah, I was all over that yesterday.
How can you say that when you won yesterday by being a diplomat?
Oh, okay. You can have it today.
I will still go for Hellraiser, but I'm going to go for the 2-1. And give them a game.
Okay.
Be generous. However, if for some reason there's going to be connectivity issues,
don't jinx it.
I won't jinx it.
That won't happen.
It won't happen.
It won't happen.
I'm jinxing it.
Shane will guarantee that.
Okay.
Will I?
Yep.
So now that we established that Hellraisers definitely is a favorite for this matchup, we're going to find out what the casters think about this matchup. And most importantly, we're going to find out if their draft actually favors Hellraisers as well, or if maybe Chappa is able to outdraft Hellraisers, because that's where we're going. We're going to the draft with OD Pixel and Draskell.